responses are analytical responses to literature. Students always struggle in the beginning weeks with composing constructive responses, so this video hopefully will give you a step-by-step way to critically think about a question and then form an analysis. The first thing you need to do in a constructive response is to read the instructions and then read the prompt. So the instructions: in a well-organized 3 to 4 paragraph response, and examine the ways in which Gregory reveals the theme in shame. Be sure to address the following questions in your response. On your constructive response, you had 4 or 5 questions. Well, I've selected one question to demo. So the question reads, what role does money play in Gregory's experience? How does money relate to a sense of shame? Before answering this question, you need to organize the response in the format that we covered in class. The first thing you need is a topic sentence, context, evidence, analysis, last but not least, concluding sentence. You need to format your paper in this order, just as I did above. Now, your topic sentence is your argument for the entire paragraph. So your topic sentence needs to directly relate to the question above. So the question, what role does money play in Gregory's experience? How does money relate to a sense of shame? Your topic sentence needs to address both points. How does money relate to Gregory's experience? Well, Gregory didn't have a lot of money. And so since he didn't have a lot of money and he was in poverty, he felt less than his classmates. You need to turn those ideas into one concise statement. So let's give it a try. Gregory's lack of money makes him feel less than his classmates, which ultimately brings him a sense of shame. After your topic sentence, you never want to immediately give context. Instead, you want to go into the text and give evidence that proves, 1, that he has a lack of money, 2, he feels less than his classmates because of that lack of money, and 3, that lack of money brings him shame. So you would need to pull from the text. You would need to pull up the story shame and then find a quote. I've read this story hundreds of times, therefore I'm just going to give the evidence that I know. All right. So the evidence reads, we all know you don't have a daddy. And then I saw Helene Tucker's eye. She was crying too. I'll never forget that day. So in this quote, we know, since we read the story, that Gregory's teacher, says in front of the classroom, we all know you don't have a daddy. But if you are a person who never read the story, as some of your parents who are watching this video, they never read the story, the context prepares them for the evidence. So in the context, you need to give a quick summary, almost. A summary of what happens immediately before the evidence. Now, in the context, you don't need to give every single detail of the story. One day, Gregory woke up at 7 o'clock a.m. and went to school. No, that's irrelevant. The context, however, does show the interaction between Gregory and the teacher and why she would say, we all know you don't have a daddy. So let's give context a try. whenever I read before I begin composing the context, I always go back to my topic sentence so that I can keep a connection in mind. So let's read our topic sentence again. Gregory's lack of money makes him feel less than his classmates, which ultimately brings him a sense of shame. Before going to school, Gregory always worked 2 jobs in order to provide for his family. At the age of 7, he shined shoes and delivered papers before meeting his classmates en route to school. The community chest was a collection where students donated money to help the less fortunate. Therefore, when Gregory attends school and tries to donate money to the community chest, his teacher, who knows he is in deep poverty, denies his request to donate $15 to the community chest. Now we're ready for the evidence. We all know you don't have a daddy. Wait, here's a red flag. Anywhere in our context, does it say anything about him being fatherless? So again, if you never read the story, would you understand the teacher saying we all know you don't have a daddy? No. So that means we need more context here. Therefore, when Gregory, the community chest was a collection where students donated money to help the less fortunate. We need to explain the process of students donating money to the community chest. Meaning, how did they know when it was their turn to donate? The teacher called them and she asked how much money their father was going to donate. So that's what's missing right here after the quote. Let's give it a go. When students donated money to the community chest, the teacher would call their names and ask how much money their father would contribute. Therefore, when Gregory attends school and tries to donate money to the community chest, his teacher, who knows he is in deep poverty and is fatherless, see how we added in this extra detail, denies his request to donate $15 to the community chest. Evidence: we all know you don't have a daddy. I saw Helen Tucker's eyes. She was crying too. I'll never forget that day. Analysis. Okay. The analysis section needs to analyze or look at each word. We focus on diction and imagery in the classroom. Diction meaning words that stand out in the quote or that brings emphasis to a meaning. Imagery meaning the words, when we see the words, the picture we come up in our head, the picture we imagine. How does that impact Gregory's life? How does the words and the images we see bring him a sense of shame? So let's take it word for word. The word we. indicates the teacher is speaking on behalf of the class. Why would that be important? If she's saying, we all know you don't have a daddy, what is she implying here? She's implying, or she's saying, that the whole class knows that he's fatherless. The whole class knows that he's poor. Now, the next question you should ask yourselves is, what's the emotional impact of a child like Gregory being fatherless? That's what you add to the analysis. The fact Gregory does not have a father shows that he does not have the stability of both parents in the home, which emotionally, what does it do to a child emotionally? Does that child feel abandoned? Does that child feel worthless? Does that child have questions like, why didn't my dad love me enough to stay? So yeah, which emotionally devastates Gregory. Now, we've tackled on the we part. We've tackled on the daddy part. Let's talk about this image we see. He says, I saw Helen Tucker's eyes. She was crying too. The fact Helen Tucker, the girl Gregory has a huge crush on, cries when the teacher acknowledges Gregory's poverty and unstable home life, signifies her pity toward Gregory. Well, her pity of Gregory. Why would it be important for us to know that Helen is pitying Gregory? How would you feel if the girl of your dreams or the man of your dreams finds out that you're poor and then he has pity on you? If you're a man, that just strips your manhood. You feel awful. So let's dig deeper with this analysis. The fact Helen Tucker, the girl Gregory has a huge crush on, cries when the teacher acknowledges Gregory's poverty and unstable home life signifies her pity of Gregory. Let's dig deep here. Her pity of Gregory emasculates him, which further brings him shame. Again, you want to make the connection to shame here because it's in the question and it's in your topic sentence. Last but not least, let's look at the evidence again. I'll never forget that day. What words stand out? And I'll never forget that day. For me, it would be never and forget. So I would highlight that. The words never and forget reminds the reader that the public humiliation he was subjected to impacted is, you need another word before it. I would say negatively impacted his life thereafter. Now, concluding sentence, we're ready. Yay! Now, I've given you some starters for concluding sentences. Thus, comma, hence, comma, therefore, comma, together, comma. These are ways you want to start. So let's try thus, comma. The reader learns. What does the reader learn? What do we learn from this? You never want to go back and restate the topic sentence because that's redundant. You never want to say, thus, comma, the reader learns that Gregory's lack of money makes him feel less than his classmates. No. Therefore, comma, the reader learns. What do we learn here, class? We learn public humiliation due to poverty. Public humiliation due to poverty. And even then, you can see me thinking, this takes thought. Due to poverty, damages the emotional and physical state of a child. The shame one feels from their home life, or you can say family, isolates them from their peers. And so, to wrap up the paragraph, the only thing you do is delete everything and bring it together. So, analysis you would take out. Evidence you would take out. And you need to do a filler here. You can say, the teacher replies, and then the quote, and then context you take out, and then topic sentence. And now we have our paragraph. Gregory's lack of money makes him feel less than his classmates, which ultimately brings him a sense of shame. Before going to school, Gregory always worked 2 jobs in order to provide for his family. At the age of 7, he shined shoes and delivered papers before meeting his classmates en route to school. The community chest was a collection where students donated money to help the less fortunate. When students donated money to the community chest, the teacher would call their names and ask how much money their father would contribute. Therefore, when Gregory attends school and tries to donate money to the community chest, his teacher, who knows he is in deep poverty and is fatherless, denies his request to donate $15 to the community chest. The teacher replies, "We all know you don't have a daddy." I saw Helen Tucker's eyes. She was crying too. I'll never forget that day. The analysis. The word "we" indicates the teacher is speaking on behalf of the class, which reveals to the reader the entire class knows Gregory is poor and fatherless. The fact Gregory does not have a father shows that he does not have the stability of both parents in the home, which emotionally devastates Gregory. The fact Helen Tucker, the girl Gregory has a huge crush on, cries when the teacher acknowledges Gregory's poverty and unstable home life signifies her pity of Gregory. Her pity of Gregory emasculates him, which further brings him shame. The words "never" and "forget" reminds the reader that the public humiliation he was subjected to negatively impacted his life thereafter. Thus, the reader learns that public humiliation due to poverty damages the emotional and physical state of a child. The shame one feels from their home life or family isolates them from their peers. And that is a great paragraph. The only thing, now that I'm putting my teacher hat on, is that this will be in a revision. As you can see, there are some squigglies here that we would need to fix. We said the fact, we used that twice. So when you find yourself using the same words over, you can just delete it and say, Helen Tucker, the girl Gregory has a huge crush on, cries. Just make the statement. That's how you polish it up in the end. But this is how you would do a constructive response for one question. The second question, if there was a second question, you would do the same thing. Here's the question, and then you would write topic sentence, context, evidence, analysis, concluding sentence, and answer whatever second question there is. Again, this is not an easy skill to master. You will not master it overnight. In my decades of experience writing these, I have not mastered it overnight. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of support, a lot of thinking. So hopefully this video helped you become masters eventually of analytical writing.